Name that tune, name that tune, name that tune. Oh, good song, good song. I got the 80s on 8. I think that's what it's called, a little REM. I don't know if this is a really good song. It's the end of the world as we know it. That was out in the 80s. I don't know, were they thinking ahead? Hopefully it's not the end of the world. In fact, I know it's not the end of the world right now because you woke up, I woke up, it's another day. What are we in today? It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. This is Daily Dose, a very special episode, by the way. Daily Dose episode. I've even put it into 4 episodes in one. Episode number 362, 363, 364, and 365. And the title for today's Daily Dose is How to Know If Your Current Routine is Doing More Harm than good. More harm than good. It's crazy to think that a year ago, we were in lockdown. I remember going down to the beach and the beach was shut down, and that was like putting a knife in my heart. If you know me, if you've been watching, if you haven't, welcome. My name is Mark Avens. I am your Bulletproof Christian Fitness Mentor. And a year ago, I decided I was doing lives before that. I was doing different lives, and I've done some things for my online coaching business as well, and reaching out, giving you helpful tips on fitness, et cetera, et cetera. But I started what's called now, a year later, the Daily Dose, and it was to provide some encouragement to know that we all get a daily dose of something, right? You get your dose, right? You get your hit. Maybe it's a cupcake or a donut and a coffee in the morning. Maybe it's your dose of exercise. Maybe it's your dose of hugs from your kids. I didn't really get a hug from my kid this morning. In fact, we got in an argument just before getting on here. And that's another story. If you have teenagers, you definitely feel where I'm coming from. We're not talking about that. How to know if your current routine is doing more harm than good. And I would say is if your current routine includes giving yourself doses of discouragement, giving yourself doses of fear and anxiety and disappointment and frustration and stress, giving yourself doses of stress, right? Maybe there's a lot of things that you can't control, as we know, right? There's so many things that we don't have control over, but you can respond in such a way, and you can actually guard yourself, guard your heart, guard your eyes, guard your mouth, guard your ears, and protect yourself, and maybe minimize or at least even potentially eliminate the amount of what you get your daily dose of, right? And a year ago, I decided, well, with all the craziness going down, back March 30th, 2020, well, we didn't know. Like, it was like, hey, we're going to be in lockdown for a week or two, or we're going to have to wear a mask. And I also remember, like, you better get your toilet paper. Like, toilet paper's running off the shelves, and you better buy some and stock up. I remember that was just complete madness. But we didn't know. Like, nobody knew what was going on at that time. Maybe you don't even feel like you still know what's going on. And I totally get where you're coming from. But you can choose to give yourself daily doses of something, right? And your routine, what does that build into? That builds into a routine. For me, I didn't know I was going to do this a year later, every single day. Just so you know, as far as routine goes, this is a great example. I have not missed a single day. You're probably like, man, you're pathetic. You did a live every single day. Yes, because I was dedicated and I wanted to do whatever I can in my part. And maybe it's reaching just one person. And if it is, then the way I feel it is it's a job well done, a daily dose well done, to just give you, whether it's to help you on your weight loss path, whether it's to help you maybe overcome a struggle with stress, maybe you're not, you had a close relationship with God, and maybe you're feeling a little bit detached right now. You're like, why is this happening to me, right? Well, bring those requests, not so much to me, bring those requests to God. Ask him to help you. Ask him he's there for you, he's ready. I can tell you in so many instances in this past year, and really the course of the past 48 years that I've been around, God is there. He's showing up. Now, it may not feel that way right now. Maybe your current routines are saying something different. But the good news is there are certain things that you can actually change, and you have the ability to change your routine, right? Because what you're doing currently now, how to know if your current routine is doing more harm than good? Well, it's very, very simple. I'm going to ask you, is your current routine doing more harm than good? Is your current routine of after dinner, sitting down on the couch and turning on the news to get you upset and frustrated and pissed off at the world and what's going on in it, to leave you in bed with your eyes wide open, not getting a good night's sleep, to ruin your day, the day that you have, to ruin it for the next day because you didn't get any sleep, because you're just stressed out, fearful, anxiety, all those things that can literally can cluster you. It can cluster you in a sense. It can prevent you from truly living the life the way life is meant to live. And it's not meant in a state of fear or anxiety or stress. Yes, there's going to be a little of that stuff, right? I get it. Like, nobody's stress-free. Like, you might say you're stress-free. It's just maybe because you know how to handle it. But if your current routine right now is, how to know if your current routine is doing more harm than good? It's simple. Ask yourself this question. Have a heart-to-heart. Maybe look in the mirror and ask yourself, is my current routine doing more harm than good? Let's talk about your exercise routine. Maybe you don't have an exercise routine. Is no exercise routine doing more harm than good to your body? That's a freaking no-brainer, right? You don't need to be an expert, with 26 years experience to tell you that if you don't currently have an exercise routine, like you're not currently active and exercising to some extent. I'm not even going to go into what extent, but if you don't currently have or on an exercise routine, something you're doing on a regular basis, guess what? That lack of routine that's a routine in itself. A routine of not working out is a routine, and that's probably doing more harm than good. If your routine is for the most part not giving a rip about what you put in your mouth, how you supplied nutrients to your body, or at least what you think are with the packaged food or the frequent drive-through visits or the nights out or the bottles of wines, or you're at the liquor store every 3 days because your vodka cabinet is empty, right? Like, again, this is not to place judgment, just to say if that routine is doing more harm than good, how do you know? Well, ask yourself, is that really probably doing you more harm than good? Chances are. If you're thinking that this world really should bow down to you and your opinions and your, the thoughts that you have and should listen to everything you say, guess what? The world really doesn't care. Even your neighbor who maybe you're fighting with on Facebook or on Instagram or however you're communicating with them, maybe that fight isn't really worth the fight. In fact, it may be causing more harm than good. Maybe that anger that's so pent up and you don't know how to release it because you've let yourself and your body down, because you've put weight on over the years. You've kept trying diets that you know in your mind, because you're a smart person, it isn't going to solve the problem behind the problem, right? The problem behind the problem that may be there from years and years of emotional baggage. And I'm not here to unpack that. Like, that's your baggage. I'm not here to unpack that, but I do know that people get stuck, and they get stuck in a routine, a bad routine, and maybe they go to food as the way to numb their pain. Maybe they go to yelling at people through their comments, in posts that people have, and that's to maybe make you feel better. I don't know any time that I've ever, and I try to guard myself with that, is how really I feel about what's going on in the world. And if you want to know, you can have a conversation. We can go have a cup of coffee and talk about it and have actually a human conversation rather than just kind of a comment to comment type of thing. But I would say is, if the routine is, how to know if your routine is doing more harm than good, just right now have a little self-check. Are you feeling good about yourself? Are you feeling good about the point where you're at in your life right now? Are you feeling good going to bed, being angry and frustrated and stressed out? Are you feeling really good about yourself after you've indulged and ate your emotions in a bag of chips or a half gallon of ice cream or a bottle of wine, right? Or binged on the weekends, or all those extra snacks after dinner where you're not hungry, but it just feels better to sit on the couch, and that taste of those salty chips or that candy. And trust me, this is not in judgment, because I find myself doing that as well. So this is much a dose for me as it is for you, in a sense that the struggle is real. Like, maybe you felt in your spiritual journey where, like, right now you're like, I feel so apart from God and I don't want it to be that way. Well, maybe the routine that you have that's separating yourself from that relationship, that's right there waiting for you, is something that maybe if you stripped away some of the other things that are trying to weight you down and pull you down, guess what? Like, it's hard to look down at people. It's hard to be judgmental. It's hard to be angry and frustrated all the time and mad at the world and looking down at what everybody else is doing and look up at God. You can't do both at the same time. You can't have like my daughter has a chameleon, and the eye goes one way and the other goes the other. And when I go over here and over there, it doesn't really like me, by the way. It turns all gray. It only likes my daughter. But it's like here and here. But our eyes don't go two different directions. In fact, the way to get on a healthy path with your routine is look up or look forward. Look to maybe changing the path that you're on, whether it is having that relationship with God, whether it is having that relationship, a healthier relationship with food, whether that is maybe exercising and doing well for your body, more good than you are for your body by exercising rather than more harm. Right? So this daily dose for me, I'm really excited. I think we're going to call this one 362, 3, 4, and 5. We'll call it 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 2, 3, and 4, and 5. What? There's routine. 365 days ago, I said 362 to 365 because I think I slept up a couple days in how I numbered them. But today is 365 because the first daily dose came up in my memory. So that's how I know it's been a full year. So a full year of routine of daily dose. Can I tell you how encouraged? I know this sounds maybe weird for you, but I can tell you I'm encouraged, not by my daily dose. I'm encouraged that I've been able to do this, to freely do this for the past year, to have eyeballs to watch, ears to listen, and then people to speak and reach back out to me to say that that's really helped them today. It's helped them open up. I've had a lot of conversations, people that are trying to get on a healthier path, the healthier direction, change the routines that they're on. And it's hard because what happens with routine, it first takes changing your beliefs. And man, I can tell you, if you've been struggling with whatever it is, and let's just talk what I'm an expert at. If you've been struggling with your weight and your health, if you've been struggling with an extra 30, 40, 50, 100 plus pounds, there's like a believability that that's just who you are and that's where you're going to be, right? And not to say that you're not valuable regardless of what the weight says on the scale. It's not even to say that. But if you believe your routine is doing more harm than good, if you believe that your excess 30, 40, 50 pounds, if you believe that your lack of exercise habits or your emotional attachment to food that's not serving you well is causing you to do more harm to yourself and your body and your mind and your life than good, the good news is it's okay. You can start to change that routine. The beautiful thing is, so long as God's given you another breath in your lungs, another beat, a little beat there in your heart, you put your hand over there, as long as you got a heartbeat, guess what? God's given you another day to change the direction you're on, the path. Maybe there's a new path that's there, and maybe not to say, hey, I want to look back at all of the things I failed at. I've failed so many things before. All the mistakes I've made, Lord knows I just made a mistake because I was yelling at my son. In fact, I was a little late because I was yelling. I was like, I felt bad about it after. I was talking to him, and we were just having like a teenage 17-year-old son to dad talk, and we are both very similar, and I don't know if you feel me on this, but we bump heads like every hour on the hour. We bump heads. And my daughter and my wife bump heads because of they're very similar as well, right? Can I get an amen? And I know I make mistakes. But one of the things that you can do is if I kept making those same mistakes and it became a routine, guess what? It's probably going to be doing more harm for my relationship with my son than good. And that's to say with everything, right? Well, let's just talk here. It's Tuesday. It's the end of the month. It's the end of the quarter. 2021 is one quarter done. It's 25% completed. And you're probably saying to yourself, holy S-H-I-T. You're getting older like me. Time is going by faster. And holy S-H-I-T. 2021 you're going to blink and it's going to be over. And you're going to be in a routine. Regardless of how quick it goes by, there will be routines that get set up. There are going to be routines that maybe you hung on to from last year. Maybe the routine of being stuck inside for a year and locked down and homebound and sitting in front of Netflix and chowing down on some chips and candy and cakes and cookie. became a routine, and now you're stuck. You want to get unstuck. You want to get out of maybe the routines that didn't serve you well. They were doing more harm than good. And I know for a lot of people that requires raising your hand and asking for help. So I'm going to give you an opportunity here. Tomorrow is the last day of the month, right? 31 days. Tomorrow's the last day of the month. I have a couple of spots on my calendar, a few. Like they've been filling up. It's been awesome, but it's been full. Our team is growing. Like I'm the coach, but I have a team of people to help me in my coaching program, the Lean Body Breakthrough Coaching Program. And what we do is specialize in helping people develop new routines, habits, right? AKA habits. Develop new routines that help serve you well. Routines that help you do more good for your body than harm. Now, listen, all you have to do is send me a private message with your hand in the air and say, I want to get on your schedule. Mark, I want to get on your schedule. It's pretty straightforward. How it looks is we'll have a conversation, you and I, brief conversation about where you're at right now. Like, what are we at? Ground zero? Do we need to strip away some bad habits and some routines? And we got to start on a new path? Cool, we can do that. Here's how it looks. Maybe you're not serious. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe you're just going to keep dabbling in quick fixes and, potions and formulas and weight loss shakes and drops under your tongue and think that all of those diets that failed you before, this year it's going to be different. This year is going to be my year to get on the right path. And it could be. But if you're going to go down the routine of what you did before and how you failed before, I say made mistakes, how maybe that diet failed you because you just gave up. You gave up on yourself, or you got even good results and then you gave up. Right? There's nothing worse than to get results, lose some weight, and then put it back on. And that's typically what diets do. That's typically what quick fixes, what the routines that don't provide solutions. If you're looking for a routine that provides solution, again, please don't reach out to me if you're not serious. I know I've done these daily doses, and I sometimes, share some fun posts and so forth, so on. But I would say this is my livelihood. I take this very seriously. And anybody that comes in that qualifies to come into my coaching program, they have to actually be ready and serious and know that they're going to have to make some change in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. No, in fact, I'm the perfect example of imperfect. That's pretty much how it goes. And I know you are too. And that's why sometimes it actually becomes a great fit. And that's where a lot of students on my plan, the majority of students on my plan, get amazing results. And even the ones that don't get amazing results still get good results by following the plan, by having structure, by having accountability to help them go in a direction to develop new routines that also incline to help with new beliefs, that they can be better, that they can improve, that they can get on a healthier path, right? And if you want to maximize your full potential, we got 9 months left of this year. Do you want to wait until another year? Do you want to wait until maybe they lock down or the world, keeps changing on a minute-to-minute basis? Or do you want to actually maximize your full potential? Maybe put some blinders on, some guardrails on the sides, and look forward to what you have next in your life, in your health. Reach out to me if you want that. Just put your hand up and said, Mark, I want your help. That's all I got. Daily Dose episodes. This is such an awesome, just a privilege to be able to come on here. It truly is. I'm grateful for all the eyeballs that have been watching, that have been tuning in, the ones that have been watching live, the ones that have been watching replays. I appreciate you. Just so you know, all of these Daily Dose episodes I have on a YouTube page. I don't even do YouTube, but I actually just recorded them all. They're all recorded and they're all saved. So if you're just coming on, you're like, you did what? 300? You did the last year of Daily Doses? Every single one of them? All of our videos live are on YouTube. Just search my name up. You can go and look on those, and you can actually scroll through, and they're titled. And if you say, oh, this one resonates with me, or maybe I need to listen to that one, go back. Go check it out. Go get your daily doses. And I'm not giving up on this, just so you know. I'm not done here. In fact, I feel like we're just getting started, and maybe it's time for you to get started on the right routine. Anyway, take care and have an amazingly blessed day. Take care.